call forth the life of our faith by igniting this chalice. This spark of new beginnings invites us into a sacred space to reflect where we have been and where we are going. Even knowing that this particular flame will intentionally end with our ritual extinguishing, we fear not its end, for we know with brave hearts that from every ending in our lives, we are sent forth to make a new beginning. I think I'm about to deliver a very dangerous sermon. And it's dangerous because I'm about to suggest that hard times can sometimes lead to unexpected positive outcomes. And this is a dangerous claim to make for a couple of reasons. First of all, I never know who's going to be in the audience or what anyone in this room might be carrying through that door on any given Sunday. People come to church for all kinds of reasons, but one thing that often draws new folks to church are life events that they're facing that are just too heavy to face alone. They know they need something, but maybe they're just not sure what, so they show up at church looking for what they need. But if someone is here for the first time because they just lost a child or a parent or another loved one, or they found that they lost a loved one last night, or a loved one just got a cancer diagnosis, or whatever, the last thing that they need to hear is that this experience might have some great lesson to offer. If they would just wait a little while. In fact, that's exactly the wrong message to deliver in those times. When life hits you hard, right in the gut, the concept of drawing meaning from your suffering is absolutely useless. Your only priority at that moment is survival. Getting up out of bed tomorrow, putting your feet on the floor, drawing your next breath, and then letting it out. Standing up, and then hopefully putting one foot in front of the other. Because at some moments in our lives, that is all that can actually be expected. It is a monumental achievement to overcome that inertia sometimes. There are some theologies that say that God works in mysterious ways. I don't know about that, but it can sure feel like that sometimes. My personal theology is grounded in more of an ever-changing random universe where things just happen as they do. But there are surely things that generate an inner demand for an explanation of why things are the way they are with just a little bit more certainty. Why do bad things sometimes happen to the most wonderful people? Why do good things sometimes happen to those folks that never seem to be very nice? Why them and not me? It is a natural human urge to try to take random events and ascribe meaning to them. We are meaning-making machines. That's what we do. But as far as I can tell, usually there just is no rhyme or reason. Stuff just happens sometimes. We can try to control many, many things. Some of the choices we tend to make often lead to better outcomes, but not always. Sometimes that marathon runner gets up in the morning and goes out for a quick jog on the day that her heart just decides to give out. Sometimes the person that never gives their health a second thought lives to 100. Again, life can just be so random. We do what we do, we prevent as much as we can, and then we just hold on, right? I think the only thing we can say with any certainty at some point is that anyone that is alive, no matter how lucky they seem to be, will at some point face some challenges which they wish they didn't have to face. That is a universal truth which I think I can stand behind. So whether you showed up this morning flying high, or if you're shouldering invisible burdens that are weighing you down, my only hope today is to offer some perspective that will help you get through whatever challenges do show up at your doorstep, either today or tomorrow or next week, and giving you the best chance to come out on the other side at least intact, if not maybe a little bit more beautiful. If we're lucky, perhaps more beauty than existed before the latest tragedy cracked your edges can be invited to emerge. I read a quote by the mystic Rashani while preparing for the sermon that really spoke to me. She said, "There is a brokenness out of which comes the unbroken." That one really hit me. On the other side of brokenness is the unbroken. If you make it through to the other side in one piece, you have remained unbroken. I'm grateful that we have a Buddhist teacher and many practitioners here in this community, because Buddhism really does address this reality of life pretty well. The Four Noble Truths address the nature of suffering. They don't say that life is suffering. Rather, they acknowledge the truth that life contains suffering. And while there are many causes of suffering, it's our own cravings and desires that are a form of suffering that result from not accepting things as they are. Life is as it is. We just sometimes wish it was different. And this is a very easy place to become stuck. The Noble Eightfold Path of Buddhism is a prescription designed to help us avoid thoughts and actions that can get us stuck in that way. And if you haven't already done so, one resource we have in this community that you could check out is the Monday Night Sangha. If you're looking for a spiritual practice to help strengthen you for those inevitable challenges life will throw your way, joining Eric's Sangha is a great option to explore. Life is ever changing. Stuck in one place is not where life is designed to stay. The lessons we need to get through our individual struggles are the same as we need to get through our collective struggles. In addition to spiritual practices, there are two main points I really want to emphasize this morning regarding how to navigate those challenges we will inevitably face. The first problem is the story we tell ourselves about the events we are experiencing. This is the end of the world. My life is meaningless. I am powerless to do anything about this. It's just hopeless. Well, maybe, maybe not. Things can surely look the darkest before the dawn. But they look even darker if we don't have our eyes opened all the way. Challenges that rise up before us can certainly seem insurmountable. They rise and feel like impenetrable cliffs that block our view of the horizon. All we can see in front of us is that we have this massive mountain to climb, and we don't feel like we have the gumption to get over it. Looking ahead any further than just what is right in front of you may not even be possible. And I think there are only two main sources of motivations we can draw from to get over a mountain. One is internal and one is external. The internal one is your unique reason for scaling that mountain. In the real world, there are actual mountains, and some folks choose to climb over these mountains simply to be able to prove to themselves that they can. There can be all kinds of additional reasons for this. I want to challenge myself to see what my limits are. I want to push myself out of my daily routine and into more beautiful spaces. I just want to keep moving. This type of motivation doesn't apply just to mountains. Anything that appears to be a challenge that we are willing to take on can contain this element. Learning to play an instrument, learning a new language, learning a new art form, beginning a new relationship. All of these things are challenges that we take on willingly because they draw us in, and we believe that conquering these challenges will provide us with some benefit. We have a picture in our mind of what getting to the other side of this challenge might feel like, and that picture compels us forward through the inevitable difficult parts. But getting through those unchosen challenges is different. These challenges weren't freely chosen, and we may have no concept of what life on the other side might even look like. We are embarking on our journey blindly, with no map to guide our way and no clear picture of our destination. And that can be a very disorienting place to be. And one common human response when faced with this type of challenge is to simply want to curl up in a ball and just stay right where we are. And sometimes if that's all you've got, that's okay. The last thing we need when we are facing a challenge that seems insurmountable is to add on another burden of guilt. If you are facing a challenge and all you can do is just survive this moment and maybe the next, then that is okay. Look at that. You made it through this moment. And then another. And then another. And that in itself is a remarkable achievement. Maybe tomorrow you can actually take a step. Or maybe it'll be the next day. The story that rests in our mind during these times goes a long way towards determining where we end up. I've done this before. I can do it now. I still have more to achieve. There are people who are relying on me. I have more sunsets that I want to see. Breathe in, breathe out. One foot in front of the other. One reason many of us get stuck in this place is that we try to go it alone. We don't want to be a burden to anyone. Asking for help is surely a sign of weakness. All of that is malarkey. We need each other. We are stronger together. We develop relationships during the good times so that we don't have to face the harder days alone. I joined a men's group about a year ago, and I've been blown away by the level of vulnerability that has emerged in this group in just a short period of time. We share our struggles, and in doing so, we realize that we are not alone. I know that if I experience something that feels too heavy to hold alone, I don't have to hold it by myself. If I become stuck, I have people around me that will hold me and help me steady myself, and when I'm ready, will help me make the next step that I need, and the next. And if I get halfway up whatever self-described mountain I'm trying to climb up, and if I slip and fall all the way back down to the bottom, they will be there to help pick me back up, dust myself off, and ready for myself for my next attempt. I see that spirit in this community and other UU Church communities. We spend our lives together. We share meals. We take classes. We help each other raise our kids. Life just bounces along and we don't give it too much thought. The strands of community web are strengthened one conversation, one experience, and one day at a time. Until one day, something happens to one of us. News we didn't want. An unexpected event, a disaster, a setback, something that just knocks us off our feet. A close colleague and mentor and friend of mine got a cancer diagnosis a few years back. I remember early on in that journey, she said to me, "You know, I used to take that interdependent web thing that we talk about as an article of faith. I couldn't see it. I just believed it was there." She said, "Well, as soon as I got that diagnosis, that invisible web became nearly visible. The people I had gathered around me with no expectation suddenly sprung into action. I fell from a very treacherous height. But then before I knew it, I was caught. I was caught and cradled in this web that I had been creating around me. I knew that I was not having to face this alone. I knew that I was held, and I knew that I was safe. And that made all the difference. That was what allowed me to know that it was okay to focus on doing whatever I needed to do to try to get better, and nothing else really mattered. I knew that the other expectations that held for me far less weight than they did before. My community helped me shift my priorities. I cannot tell anyone in this room what the future is going to hold for you or for us. Life is just too unpredictable. But I do know that in addition to the struggles, life is also filled with indescribable beauty. And with all of the billion chance encounters that can lead to endings, the fact that we arrived here today together in this space is a miracle. And if we all end up back here together next Sunday, that will be another miracle. And perhaps the only reason I am able to view this life this way is that I have traveled through challenges, both my own and as a companion with others. That might be the only way that you're able to get through things. It's just the experience of the journey. I've journeyed with men that have lost the love of their lives after 50 years of marriage, that have continued on when they thought that was their only reason for living and that it was taken away, until they realized that they still had some important contributions to make. I've journeyed with folks that have lost children, who have somehow found the strength to make it through to the other side. I've journeyed with friends that have survived cancer, and I've journeyed with people whose communities have rejected them. In each and every instance, the folks I come to know on the other side of these challenges are the same people, but they are also different. They have been broken, but they are also unbroken, stronger and more beautiful for having survived unimaginable hardships. So it is with individuals, so it is with the collective. Things are going to happen in this world. The world will change, and it will change sometimes in ways we wish it didn't. And all we can do is keep showing up. All we can do is support one another on the journey. All we can do is keep putting one foot in front of the other. Just one more step, just one more, because you never know how beautiful the next vista might be until you make it over that ridge. Take a hand, keep moving. The journey is long. It is not always going to be easy. But sometimes, if we just keep going, the next miracle will appear. There is always a new dawn. There is always a new day. Blessed be, and may it be so. Beloveds, it is a beautiful day today. I know it was a little rainy yesterday, but it's a beautiful day today, and for that I am grateful. Gratitude is the other balm that can get us through the hard times. Having a gratitude practice which keeps us remembering that we have so many things to be thankful for, even in the hard times, is one of those things that gets us through the even harder times. Thank you for coming today. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I think we need some energy uplift here. I'm sure our musicians are going to do that for us now. Join us in the social hall. Reach out to someone that you heard is having a tough time. Give them some love if you have extra share. And have a wonderful week. Be well.